What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It is your boy Fly Guy, and I'm here with my boy Sean. And this is Sports Rants with Abby and friends, and we're the friends. I want to start off by saying, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you for joining us today, Sean, my brother. How are you today, sir?
I'm good, man. We just announced that our team is up for sale, so there's a lot of speculation on who's going to buy Seattle.
Whew.
So I've been like deep diving into that. Um,
Gonna break some records, huh?
yeah, they're talking about Bezos possibly buying it, which I don't know how I feel. I kind of want, I saw this like stat sheet, and I don't remember exact numbers, but it was like pre-ownership, post-ownership, and like when Jody and Paul took over, and like, dude, it's like 29 years, 15 division titles, 4 Super Bowls, 2 wins, 14 championships, NFC championships. So you're always hoping that you get an owner that's going to be like them, hands off. They understand like the business and, hey, let the front office run things. They're not I don't want someone like Jerry Jones, right? Like I don't think anyone wants a Jerry Jones running their organization. So I think that, maybe my biased opinion is we've been a really successful organization over the last 15 years. So just let it rock, let it rock, let it ride. And then there's all the controversy. I don't want to get into it, like the controversy with Bezos and, you know, all that kind of stuff that people aren't too happy about. Like they're hoping, but it'll be very, very curious to see. This was inevitable anyways. There was a clause in a contract that said, the team had to be sold off in X amount of years anyway. So it's not like this is like the Allens are giving up. You know what I mean? It's just the reality of, how everything fell. But it is what it is. I'm excited, for the future. I think our team is still built for success. So I'm not too worried about it in the short term, but, it's a long-term thing, right? So
That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
and anytime ownership changes hands, you never know, right? Like you
Yeah.
said, hands off versus hands on. How much are they really going to invest in the team? How much they're really caring about it, or is this just a tax write off? It's like there's so many different elements there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like I don't know if it's true or not, but there's like speculation that Ballmer might get in. And I'm like, I hope not. With all the scandals going on with his shit, I'm like, I hope it's just like people trolling.
I think
But
that's what it is.
you never know. You never know. These people, people with that amount of money, you never know. Um, but regardless, we'll see what happens. It is what it is, no matter what happens. But we're just hoping that we don't get a Jerry Jones. That's the biggest, most important thing, in my opinion, at least.
100%. Now, where'd you want to start? You wanted to start what happened over this weekend, or
Yeah, we can start with whatever happened over the weekend. We had a lot of football stuff going on this week too. A lot of the Dolphins. I mean, if you want to talk about your Dolphins a little bit, a lot of big news coming out of Miami over there.
yeah, we released Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill, two big contracts, and we're in a rebuilding phase, so
Yeah.
this kind of made sense. Kind of like take the big cap hit this year. I anticipate Tua is going to be the other one that gets released.
It's just cap it's what 99 mil or something though. I'm
Yeah,
like, geez, Louise. But I mean, if you're starting that process, take it this year
yeah,
and keep it moving. That's the biggest thing, right? Like you guys have a lot, in my opinion, a lot of really bad contracts, and you started to alleviate those, which is good. But and I've also seen like Waddle's saying like me next. Um, I'm one of those people that's on the boat of like, if you're just gonna reset and tank, get as much value as you like. Dude, to me, I don't know how you feel. Trade Achan, trade Waddle, trade everybody. Anybody with value, stack up your picks, stack up your value. Because to me, Achan's 24, right? If you're not going to compete for like 2 or 3 years, puts him at like 26, 27 years old. At that point, would you rather get 2 firsts for him or, a first and a second or a first and a third? I don't know. I'm not sure your opinion on it. I'm curious to see what you think, because those are thoughts that were swirling in my head. But I'm like, I'd love to see what like a real fan of a team thinks about it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get it. And if you are to give another guy the reins, you got to have something for him to work with, like a quarterback. I'm saying, whether it's yours or if they draft somebody in the next year's draft, um, it is just going to be I guess, a shorter rebuild. Um, because when their contract runs up, you could just retool also, without waving the white flag and saying, "Yep, we're gonna go 1-16, and here you go." Like it's gonna be a tough sell for the fans to want to go to the games and really support that. So like I also can see it from the business standpoint where you don't want to just be like, all right, we're getting rid of everybody. Um, you want to kind of remain somewhat competitive, even though, because like you're building the culture too with the new regime. Um, I agree. You can try to see what's the best offers that you can get. Even if it's not even a serious call, just fielding calls and see what teams are willing to give for an Ashan or a Waddle or whoever, right?
Well, someone was like, if someone like called up Miami, right? And I know this is unlikely, but they're like, hey, we'll give you 2 firsts for HN. Would you be mad if they didn't take it, or how would you feel when it comes to that?
I mean, there's two ways to look at it. Like from a personal standpoint, it would suck because I really enjoy him as a football player.
Yeah.
And we'll be losing a big talent. But also, if you look at it objectively, it's like, all right, like you said before, you're really not going to be competing for the next couple years. So build through the draft. That's what the coaching staff and the general manager have been preaching, is that they want to build through the draft and kind of have a solid foundation that way. So it would suck, but I would understand because it's a business at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
I just hope that the first rounders that you get are from a kind of a bad team, so it's a higher first round pick than at the back end of the round.
I
But
mean, the thing about the NFL is, dude, you never know. Like, who would have expected? Here's my thing, right? If you traded for the Chiefs pick this year, you would have never expected to be picking at 8 or 9, or I think they're 8 or 9, whatever they are. So you really never know the value. I mean, you do with some teams, like if you're trading with the Raiders or the Jets or teams like that, you kind of know what you're getting a little bit.
yeah,
But sometimes, all it takes is one injury, man. If Josh Allen goes down in Buffalo, Buffalo's pick is probably, a top 6 pick at that point,
100%.
So just one of those things where, if I don't know, just say like the Rams called you up and say, hey, we'll give you, and this would never happen, right? But hey, we'll give you 2 firsts for Waddle, which actually that could, if that's not possible. Regardless, Stafford retires the following year and they don't have a backup plan. The Rams are a great team, but if you're putting in the JJ McCarthy in the backfield, shit, it don't matter who you have at wide receiver clearly, because Jefferson is already a consensus wide receiver 1 in the league for a while, and Jordan Addison is an uber talented receiver, and then the Vikings defense is incredible, but look how they faltered. So just very interesting. And then, you saw the thing where they're possibly allowing teams to offer 5 picks. They're talking about wanting to do that. And I guess we could segue that kind of into like, that's what's the talk about, like Max Crosby and stuff going on the market has been. And, the Raiders are asking for 2 firsts and a premium player, which is crazy to me. If you're getting 2 firsts for Parsons, 1 first for Crosby should be more than fine with the amount of injuries he's had.
Yeah.
And my thing too, and Seattle, there's talks of like Seattle possibly trying to trade for him, and we only have 4 picks in this draft, so I'm not keen on. Don't get me wrong. If we could get pick 32 for Max Crosby and that was the deal, maybe, our cap space, there's a lot of stuff we have going on with our cap. But still, like, that's not a bad trade. But if you're telling me you want this year's first, next year's first, and I don't even know, like Byron Murphy or something, that would never occur, right? Because Byron Murphy's the future of our team on that line. Dude, I would literally laugh to the bank. Dude, get out of here. So I don't know. I just think that some of these teams are very unrealistic what they ask for.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? You never know value of players, right? Because didn't like Tyreek get traded for like a third or a fifth or something? It was something crazy. It was like no pick at all. And obviously, there's a ton of controversy with him, but you don't even know like how teams or other teams are truly valuing these players.
Yeah. And the market is kind of fluctuates, depending on the value of the position at the time.
Yeah.
When the Dolphins got Tyreek Hill, they gave up a lot for him. But that was because that was the era of, wide receivers and skill positions on the outside, like skill position players on the outside. And, that was the new thing.
Well, he was also like coming off back-to-back Super Bowls, and
yeah, his
he was an
value was at his
absolute
peak.
monster. I mean, I think we were possibly considering Tyreek Hill to be one of the greatest receivers he could have been a all-time great. I mean, I remember he was 1-1 in fantasy drafts, or at least one, not falling past 1-3 for multiple years.
Yeah.
Guy was just an absolute monster. And now, is that a byproduct of having Patrick Mahomes throw to you, or did Mahomes benefit from him? That's all conversations of another day. But yeah, it's really crazy. And like you said, you traded from what, 4 years ago? He's been there 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think
3 or 4
years
seasons.
Ago. Yep.
And look at him now, cut. So it's like, you're mortgaging a future on something you think is an all-star, and let's just say you guys trade Achane for 2 firsts, and the team gets him and he tears his ACL. Like Brooks has, tore his ACL. It's like, I don't know. It's just so crazy. That's why like I'm a big fan of like building in the draft. Like Seattle's done over the last few years. I just think that's so important. Like people trading all these picks and this, that, and the other. I just find it absurd. Like, even let's use a real life example as of right now. The Falcons trading for the Rams pick, or what they gave the first round pick to trade up in the draft last year to take James Pierce.
Yep.
He's facing 8 years in prison minimum right now. Home run of a pick, right? Like stellar season this year.
Yeah.
But he had all the red flags. There was a lot of talk and chatter. I mean, he was a top 5 talent, and he fell, which is why they traded, right? But you never know. It's crazy. It's like, do your research, do your scouting, and then make your pick based on that, and don't try to leverage your whole team based off of that. Oh, here's Johnny boy.
Johnny boy, what's up, bro?
What's up, big dog? I don't know, the nuances of trading and stuff, like, it's always been a big thing for me, just because Seattle's not a team that trades for, like, we traded for Diggs a couple years back, right? And then we traded for Jamal Adams, right? And like Jamal Adams never worked out for us when we traded for him from the Jets. And he was an all-star safety, right? Like, I was super excited when we traded for him. And, looking back, I'm like, damn, look how much talent we've developed on our own from the draft. Just this year alone, Eman Worry, 2 years ago, we got Byron Murphy. You got Woolen, who's going to most likely leave us. We got Reek from that Denver trade where we traded Russ away,
Yeah.
There's so much value in drafting and evaluating on your own that, that's why I'm like, if I'm a team like the Dolphins and I know I'm going to rebuild, go get those picks and sell high.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the the smart thing to do, especially if you're building an infrastructure where draft and development is your thing now, because it's very hard to win building through free agency. Very rarely do we see like the big spenders, have immediate success. Like, it looks good on paper, but you don't win championships on paper.
Correct. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. And we got a question from Johnny Boyd. Would you trade their 44th overall pick for George Pickens? No.
No.
I think it's great value. The problem is here's how I see it. Pickens is a problem player, right? We've seen how he looks in bad environments. I'm not gonna say he's a problem player, but he is. Like we all know he has his issues. You're gonna just put him in a bad environment again. You're gonna have to pay him a fat contract. So you're gonna be paying Wilson and Pickens. So you're gonna be almost not same contract wise, but almost in the same boat as the Bengals are. And then you're gonna have to find your quarterback of the future, and they're so far away from even competing. Pickens doesn't move the needle at all to me. I actually think it makes it worse, especially if the Jets are going to want to tank again next year. That wouldn't be ideal. I just say make your picks, develop your rookies. I mean, we just had a whole talk about draft picks, right? That's what we just talked about. Make your picks. You have a ton of picks over the next 2 or 3 years. Develop your rookies and plan for the future. I just don't see a world or a way where they try to trade for Pickens with no foundation at quarterback, nothing. They're not competing in that division. They're not. So,
no, and to your point, the culture there isn't the best for him, and him having to try to fight for targets with a subpar quarterback right now, you don't know who they're going to have. So it's just going to breed a lot of tension there. You're trying to work past having a toxic locker room and a toxic environment there. You got to focus on winning. And like you said, bring guys into the draft, have them kind of pulling in one direction and, establish a philosophy of like, this is who we are, an identity, Jets football, and Pickens is good on paper, but he's in a good spot because Dallas airs it out, like
he had an elite year.
Stats.
He was better than CeeDee Lamb statistically last year. CeeDee Lamb missed games, obviously, but again, that's one of those things. Is that a byproduct of the Dallas offense? Because we saw how he looked in Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
To me, him in Pittsburgh reminded me a lot of how DJ Moore looked this year in Chicago.
Yeah.
And again, I think he's like 24, uber talented. I mean, he was uber talented coming out of Georgia. I mean, he highly touted. He's not some run-of-the-mill wide receiver. He's very, very good. It's just we've seen his demeanor in a very bad situation, and I wouldn't want to trade a very valuable second pick for someone that you could possibly if they trade for him, he's going to be franchise tag, right? So you're going to have to give him a deal as well, and you're running the risk of him not even signing with you, right? Like he might just up and leave in free agency. So you're wasting a second round pick. If he was under like 3 more years of control, I'd consider it, but I don't see it. I don't see the value, or I don't even see, it doesn't even make sense to me for them to do that personally.
Yeah. It's almost like, when you're a bad team in baseball and you're trading for a closer, like it's like the puzzle pieces don't fit. But I will say though, like with that 44th pick, that's generally a starting player wherever he fits on the field. And you're just saving yourself a lot of money. It's more cost effective.
100%. And they need a lot of help everywhere, right? Like defense. Yeah. I think a lot of mocks have them taking like Ruben Bain, and then like I've seen like Peter Woods going to them a lot at 16 now.
I'll throw a hypothetical at you. Let's say they were a receiver away. Would you make that deal?
Absolutely. But they wouldn't be picking at 44 if they were a receiver away. So there's that aspect too, right? It's 44 for – okay, first off, Pickens is not a proven player. Pickens had a stellar year this year. Pickens is proven to be problematic is what he's proven to be. And you don't even know where you're picking in 2027 yet, right? Like you're assuming you're going to be bad. If you're buying Pickens this year, you're already saying we're going to win at least 2 games by trading for him, right? Like his EV is probably 1 to 2 games. So that's already hurting your draft stock. You'd boost your wide receiver room, yes, but the Jets don't have a wide receiver room. You have Garrett Wilson, you have Adonai Mitchell, and then they have the other kid, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And then they have the tight end that's decent, but you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
And again, like I just said, he's franchise tag, or he's going to be franchise tagged most likely. He's not signed to a long-term deal, so you're not setting anything up because what happens if he doesn't return? You just traded a second-round pick for a flyer on a season that you're supposed to be tanking. That's the issue. Is you're not competing next year. Just like Guy said, if you're a receiver away, yes, but the Jets are not a receiver away, and you wouldn't. I don't think Pickens would re-sign there, and I could be wrong, and maybe the Jets could offer him a lot of money. But again, in that same regard, the Jets would be ignorant to offer Pickens that much money when they're so far away, so many pieces wise, right? Like we just saw the Seattle Superhawks win the Super Bowl. The Seattle
Superhawks.
Yeah, the Superhawks, baby. The Seattle Seahawks. Geez, that is a tongue twist. The Seattle Seahawks win a Super Bowl with JSN being their number 1 receiver who's on a rookie deal. Now we're going to give him a monster extension, right? We had a Cooper Kupp on a good deal. We traded for Shaheed midseason. And then who I'm excited for next year is Torrey Horton because that doesn't get talked about enough about how good he was for us when he was healthy. But we don't have a number 1 we have a number 1 receiver. We don't have a number 1 receiver on a massive contract. That complicates a lot of the roster structure. And you're going to see us next year, right? Like we're probably going to have to let go of Boy Mafe, Nwosu, Woolen, K9's probably going to leave. And now, we're going to have to give Witherspoon and JSN contracts, extensions. I hope we keep Kobe Bryant and Josh Jobe. I would love for that, at least have some quarterback depth. And then we can draft there's one thing I don't question is our drafting ability. So I'm sure we can snag someone of value in the draft, but that's Johnny boy. You might as well go try to sign Malik Willis if that's the case. Will Levis.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing, right? When Will Levis played for the Titans, they were in almost a similar situation as to what the Jets are in right now. How did that go? Why? Cousins, none of them are moving the needle, right? So here's my thing. If you're trading for a player of that caliber, you want to be in win now. You trading for a player of that caliber does not do anything for your team right now if you're trying to be competitive for a draft pick in the draft that's going to have Arch Manning and Dante Moore and a lot of these guys coming out next year. So what I'm not understanding is why would you trade for a player like that? Yeah, that's what I said. You Malik Willis or Jacoby Brissett. But again, you're gonna have to pay Malik Willis because he's to me. And I watched him in college when he played at Liberty. Like I thought he was great. He didn't have a great couple of years, I think. And Malik Willis has looked fantastic for the Packers every start. He's going to get paid somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's a serviceable quarterback in the NFL. I genuinely do. I thought he was coming out. Guy has a cannon of an arm. He can run. But if you're the Jet again, Shaq, let me ask you this: if you're the Jets, right? And Guy, answer this too. If you're the Jets, why would you go sign a Malik Willis if you own all of these picks and you think you're a couple years away? Because the Jets aren't going to be competitive in that division as is. They have a decent O-line. They don't really have any receivers. Let's just say you have Garrett Wilson and Pickens, and Wilson can't even stay healthy, right? You have Breece Hall, who I think is a superstar running back, but you have no defense. Yeah, you're going to draft Arvell Reese. You're going to draft another defender in the first round probably, whether it's a CB or whether it's another interior or lineman. But the Jets are so far away, like a couple years away, with the trade specifically that they made this season with Quinnen Williams and Sauce and everything else, which I think they capitalized high on Sauce's value. I didn't like trading Quinnen Williams. And I wish Abby was here to have this conversation because I'd love to hear how she felt about this.
Yeah.
why would you go sign a Malik Willis and then try to trade? Let's just say you traded for Pickens, just to be the fourth best team in your division, or maybe the third best because the Dolphins are going to suck too, right? Are they in that division? Yes, Dolphins, Pats. Yeah, I didn't say that you need to trade for him. My whole point is it doesn't make sense to try to be competitive this year. Guy, what is your thoughts, Guy? I'm sitting here talking my ass off. I'm just
no. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I'm saying, like, and we touched on it a little earlier. If you're gonna do a full rebuild, you have to commit fully to it. You can't just year two say, yeah, let's make these moves, because now you're kind of undercutting the development long term, right? You want to sustain winning and have the window open the widest that it can be. When you kind of, you know, like theoretically trade for a Pickens or try to sign a Malik Willis, what are you going to do with those other picks? Are you going to use them for other things? I would rather have my quarterback at a rookie deal for, what is it, 2 or 3, 4 years, and maximize the talent around him, build around that rookie deal for quarterback that's there, whoever it may be. I don't think they're a quarterback away either. So I wouldn't make the investment in Willis. Willis is, like you said, a serviceable quarterback, and he, just by his talent alone, they'll win games they're supposed to lose. And I think what Willis provides and the direction the Jets are is not really aligned.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen too. It's going to be the exact same thing that happened with the Jets this year and playing Jackson Dart.
Yes.
They lost. They could have easily had the second overall pick. They dropped to 5 because they were winning games they shouldn't have, because they're playing their starters, and that's not what you want. And here, even better, this year they have their pick and the Colts pick. They have their pick and the Cowboys pick in the second round. They don't have a third round pick. They have their fourth round pick, 2 fifths, the Buffalo 6th, Buffalo 7th, and the Titans 7th. Next year, they have the Cowboys, which I guess if you're trading for Pickens, that helps that value a little bit. I don't think it moves the needle that much just because of how that offense runs. But they have the Cowboys, Indies, and their own first-round pick next year. And then all of their picks until the 6th round, which they own Kansas City and the Eagles, they don't own their 6th or 7th. So to me, as a Jets fan and as a Jets from their perspective, is you're not going to be good at least until 2028 because of all the picks you have. And there's no need to be. And especially with next year's draft, if you can have 2, even 3 top 8 picks, and you can pack, if let's say they fall with the number 1 pick, and I've been saying this, they get the number 1 pick, you take Arch, right? If Arch has a stellar year, which we saw how he ended the year, I think Arch is going to be that guy. You take Arch, and let's just say, you do what the Texans did when they took Will Anderson and Stroud, right? You trade up, you take Arch, and then you get Jeremiah Smith, generational wide receiver.
Yeah.
That alone settles your wide receiver room, your quarterback, and then you still have all your other picks. After, you lose you lose a first round pick, but you gain that. And that's assuming that the Colts are bad. That's assuming the Cowboys are bad. There's a lot of stuff to that. I just don't see a way where that doesn't make sense, because the value in that and having a Jeremiah Smith on a rookie contract and an Arch Manning, granted the first round contracts are a bit larger, right? But you'd have generational talent for years. Plus you have all your picks this year that you're using. It just doesn't make any sense for me at all. And specifically seeing their 2027 picks that they have, the Colts could very easily suck cock next year, right? They could. And, Dallas is a Dak injury away from being a horrible team, because let's be honest, that division is going to be better next year.
Yeah.
The Commanders are going to have Daniels healthy. I think the Giants are going to be one of those teams. I don't think everyone's saying they're going to win the division. I don't see it. I think they're going to be really good though. And then, the Eagles are the Eagles. So I don't know. Johnny, I get what you're saying. I just, you don't take a quarterback that's positive EV for your team when you own the picks you do. I think that's just simply what it comes down to. You have to be okay with just sucking next year. Like, you guys are going to be bad next year, and that's what you want, because this year's draft there's not a lot of blue chip prospects in this year's draft. There's not a lot of, like, the good players are like the Sonny Styles and the Caleb Downs and the Jeremiah Loves that are not like top, like, and Jeremiah Love might go 5 overall, right? Or not Jeremiah Love. Caleb Downs might go 5 overall to the Giants, right? You don't see box safeties going that early. Sonny Styles is a linebacker. He's probably going to go to the Cowboys at 12, right? Who's the other one? Love is probably going to go to Kansas City or the Saints. But those are because they actually fit where those teams are at right now. Next year's draft is loaded with talent. This year, there's a lot of talent sprinkled throughout, like wide receivers deep, running backs not deep, quarterbacks not deep. Next year, it's loaded. You just have to be okay with knowing next year's draft is going to be way better. Even if you fall to 3, again, you're going to have Arch Manning. And if Arch Manning, again, this is all dependent on if Arch Manning has a great season, but I think if he came out of in the draft this year, he would have been the number 1 overall pick. At least 2. At best, he would have been 2 with how Mendoza's season in it. But I think Arch Manning is just a better talent. We see what he do with his legs. He's got a good deep. There's a lot. We'll see how he plays out next year. But and then you have Jeremiah Smith, a generational receiver. To me, those are probably going to be 1 and 2. And then you have Dante Moore. If he has another good year, he comes out. He's already, you already have 2 premium quarterbacks coming out next year at the very minimum. It's just, again, I know you don't want to. Yeah, DraftKings ChatGPT can have whatever they want. If the Jets win next year, I don't even know what I would do if the Jets won the Super Bowl.
Seriously.
The odds of that happening are negative. Sorry, they just really are. You'd have to literally, and I'm sorry, but you'd have to have every NFL team's plane explode midair for them to win the Super Bowl. That's really what it would come down to.
By default.
Yeah. It'd have to be mass genocide and only the Jets players survive. That's what it would take.
I think the Jets fans as a whole, I know they've suffered a long time, but this is where patience equals power. You have to let the process, play out a little bit. You're only in year 2 coming up, right? In the new regime, right? It's Aaron Glenn regime. You got to let the team be built. Let the culture be instilled. When you start trying to deviate from that, you kind of mess with the timeline and mess with the roadmap to wherever they have. And I get it. What is it, 16 years? They haven't made the playoffs. What's another year or 2?
Sauce and Quinnen, though, you as a Jets fan, you already acknowledge at that point you're 2 years away at minimum.
Yeah.
Like, you already know what you're doing with those trades, right?
Exactly.
So it's just, you have to, and I know it sucks, you just have to be okay with it. I mean, you really do, and I think it's beneficial to be okay with it, and it's beneficial for them to suck next year. Just don't waste any of your cap space. Don't waste any money. I don't know. And, like Shaq said, as we said last week, the AFC South is going to be a barn burner, which we said, and I think we agree on that. NFC East going to be crazy as well, right?
Yeah.
The Jets very well could get 3 top 15 picks at minimum, because I could easily see the Cowboys being the worst team in their division. And I will say too, the NFC East has to play the Seattle division next year.
Oh.
So the NFC East is NFC East is the Cowboys and Eagles and all that. So they're playing the NFC West next year. That's what the schedule is. So they do not have easy games, man. You're going to have to play the Niners, the Rams. The Cardinals might be, competitive next year. Who knows with that organization? Probably not. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
And Seattle to me is still the favorite going into next year, being the Super Bowl, Super Bowl contender, winner, whatever you want to call it. So you could easily see the let's just say they at best split their divisional games. They're 3-3, and they're probably not beating the Niners, the Rams, and the Seattle, right? So you're already 3-6 at that point. I don't know what the rest of the Cowboys schedule looks like, but they could be horrible for all we know. And then even if they're in a, it could be like how Arizona was, where they were just in a really good division. They play competitive in a lot of games, but just got blasted in the division, right?
Yeah.
And then you on the flip side, the AFC South with the Jaguars and the Texans. Danny Dimes is not going to be back for the regular season, I don't think, to start. So there could be a very, very well be a world where they're a bottom feeder in that division because who's the other team in that division? Why am I brain farting?
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee. They showed a little life at the end of the season. They got a complete revamp. You got Dable over there coaching Cam Ward now, and they have a premium pick in this draft. They could steal a couple games easily. So you could even possibly have 3 top 10 picks if everything falls your way.
Yeah.
Then that's not to say the Cowboys can come out and win the Super Bowl, right? Like they have a good team. I don't think they're built for it, but because I think they're going to lose Javonte Williams and they don't really have a running back after that.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of why their offense was successful because they could set it up. But yeah, the NFL's, and like I just said before everyone got here, like NFL is so crazy because draft picks, you never know where they're going to fall. We can predict and project, right? But again, we wouldn't have predicted that the fucking Chiefs would have the 9th overall pick in this draft. If anybody in this chat or us or anyone said that the Chiefs would be a top 10 draft pick next year, we would have literally laughed at them.
Yep.
We literally laughed at them. Yeah, the AFC South has to play the AFC North and the NFC East, right? So
the Cowboys theoretically would have to play the AFC South too.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, when you really look at stuff, you're like, oh shit, who knows what could actually happen? Because I think the AFC North outside of Cleveland next year is going to be super competitive as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Bengals win that division next year. I really do. But you got Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and the Browns suck, but whatever. Who knows? With the schedule like that, who knows? You don't.
And again, in the AFC, you're going to see a lot of wide open. It's no real clear cut favorite. You do see there's certain teams that you could expect, but there's going to be a lot of parity. And I would say don't chase mediocrity. And I'm saying this as a Dolphin fan because we've chased mediocrity. We swung and missed a lot because we didn't exercise patience. And when we did exercise patience, we exercised it in the wrong people and in the wrong coaches. So that's why I'm saying that if you have those assets, unless you're, flipping it for more picks and adding depth, you're going to have to ride the course. And that, like you said, does it suck in the short term? Yeah, because, your team's going to be one of the worst teams in the sport. But you're looking for 2027, and that's your time to shine. You're laying the culture foundation. You got to hit on the picks this year, right? And if you're a quarterback-starved team, 2027 is the year. And that goes for a lot of teams.
Well, 2028, right? Technically.
Oh, yeah.
Because you want to be bad next year.
Yes. I forgot that next year is 2027.
Yeah.
But yes, for that draft class, you want to set yourself up to position yourself to acquire as much talent as possible. You want to acquire talent.
Yeah.
Because now with talent, now you could trade off and add pieces where you need to, right?
Bits and pieces, baby. That's all you need to do. Chip away at it.
That's it. But
and Shaq says, would you sit out Mahomes next year? We're just talking about tanking. I wouldn't, especially if they get Jeremiah Love at 9.
Yeah.
I think he's the number 1 prospect on my draft board, talent-wise. And Jeremiah Love would completely transform that offense. They've never had a running back like him. And his comps are Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs, just to be clear. Yeah. And look at the Falcons, right? the Falcons with Bijan alone were like an 8-win team, pretty much. Drake London wasn't healthy all year, and you had Statue Cousins in the backfield. If I'm the Chiefs and I get if Jeremiah Love falls and the Saints don't take him at 8, I'm certainly not tanking next year. You're a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion.
Yeah, they still have the infrastructure to win. You know, you get a talent like that with the talent of Mahomes and Andy Reid, like him in that West Coast offense could be deadly.
Did Jeremiah Love average like almost 7 yards a carry in college? I'm pretty sure. Like season wide, not just game, like season wide. Yeah, it does depend on how he recovers, right? But the thing is, and I think that you and I were talking about it a couple weeks ago when we got like the ACL recovery nowadays compared to what it used to be is day and night, man. Not to jump sports, but apparently I've heard Tatum might be coming back in March, like March 1st or March 10th. And I know not the same injury. Like I think Tatum was an Achilles injury, right? But think about how quick that is. If Tatum tore his Achilles 5 years ago, that's an 18-month injury. These injuries, these surgeries they do aren't as invasive anymore. And like the technology and the medicine we have is so crazy. I get you have the injury of risk and all that, I can't speak tonight. The risk of re-injury. But there's so much more nowadays in the fields of medicine. Like he got hurt. When did Mahomes get hurt? I think it was 14, but I could be wrong.
I think it was 14.
15. So, I mean, that's in December, right? So 9 months puts him in what? August?
Yeah.
September, right? So I think he'll be more than fine coming back in September. Even if he sits for 2 weeks, you have a serviceable backup, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a curious circumstance, but I don't think he sits out. I think he actually probably starts the season, if I had to guess. And this Sam Darnold question is just crazy in general. No, Sam Darnold will not be on the trading block. I don't think.
Why?
the team isn't for sale because the Seahawks are struggling. I think this is something people don't realize. Seattle's for sale because Paul Allen died, and that was part of the contract and the clauses within it when he passed away, was that in, I think it was 3 years or 5 years, there had to be an attempt of sale for the team. I don't know if it's a family. I don't know all the nuances of it, but there was a clause that said like, hey, the team has to be sold. And that's just what it is. That's just how it happens. They're not selling because they're struggling and we're not going to be a contender all of a sudden. Seattle, to me, unless something drastic changes, I think Seattle really honestly is set up to be a dynasty right now. And I'm going to say we weren't even – we weren't expecting to or expected to win this. I think everyone thought we were a year away. And we went 14-3 and won the Super Bowl, right? And that's being a year away. Like we were hoping next year we would be this good. So if we're good this good now, knowing who we were going to lose this year and everything, I think next year is going to be just as good. We have made a lot of good coach signings in this offseason, a lot. So I am very, very excited. I know we lost Kubiak, but geez, I am excited going into next year. And I've been around since the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl win, the Super Bowl loss to the Patriots. There has not been back-to-back seasons I've been excited to be a fan of a team more than what I saw this year going into next year, knowing where we were at to start the year this year. And, this is why I said McDonald got, scammed basically out of Coach of the Year, because everyone had us winning over under 7.5, and everyone said we were going to be fourth in the division, under 7-win team. And look what we did, man. In the Colt, I watched those like the videos they do after the Super Bowl and like has all the listen-ins and stuff, man. Seattle buys into being a football team, man. They buy into each other, and that's all what McDonald has done. And I think that's all on him. And I mean, dude, I watched the first drive. We're jumping all over, but the first drive when we got him off the field and they came off the field. All of them, all the Patriots players had their heads down, and Vrabel was like, "Keep your head up, like keep your head up, like it's a long game." I think they knew after the first drive that they were lost.
Yeah.
And Shaq, Barner and Arroyo. I think Arroyo is going to have a monster year next year. I don't think people understand how talented he actually is. He was hurt a lot this year. Arroyo was very good in college at Miami. I think Guy, you should be very knowledgeable of Arroyo, right?
Oh yeah.
I think with us bringing in San Fran's guy, who was a defensive guy first. Let's just get that out of the way. But everyone's like, oh well, Kittle was already there. Did no one watch Tongs play last year? Like Tongs was almost better than Kittle a lot of times. I'm telling you, I could go into I could talk for an hour and a half about how excited I am for all the moves and everything. But Barner and Arroyo, I think, are going to have a monster. And I think we're going to be running a lot more 2 tight end sets next year. And then we're getting Horton back, man. If we can re-sign Shaheed for almost a team-friendly deal, and then we got JSN. And if Cup stays. It's up to him. He might retire. He's got a second ring now, and he was a big reason that we were where we were this year. But yeah, K9 might leave, quote unquote. But I've said I'm okay with K9 leaving if we can get like a Rico or a Javante for like $4 million a year cheaper than we could have got him. I would, if we got Rico for like $8 million a year. I mean, dude, Jesus Christ, we saw what he did in the middle of the season when they just said, "Hey, here, have the ball."
Yeah.
Guy's a monster. I would be more than happy to get him at $8 million a year. Kenneth Gainwell, another guy that we could get. I mean, Charbonnet's going to be back. We just need a running back that's going to be serviceable and good. Like Charbonnet's a monster. Everyone hates on him, and he's just a beast, bro. He's really good. Let me not talk about the Seahawks. I'll sit here and talk about the Seahawks for an hour and a half. Oh man. Why don't we hop around and talk about something else? You want to talk about basketball or baseball?
Yeah, let's it was All-Star weekend. Let's get that out the way.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on NBA All-Star weekend?
I hated it. And I watched this weekend and I was like, okay, if this is how they start playing and how it starts going, I could get behind it. I'll tell you what I didn't like about the All-Star, and we got cut off talking about this the other night when my computer just froze. I didn't like Dame playing in the 3-point contest while he's out with injury.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's allowed. If he's on an injury report and can't play actual basketball, he shouldn't be allowed to compete in All-Star weekend. Maybe that's like a crazy thing to say. I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah. I mean, and I hate to say it because I am a fan of the NBA too. It's the All-Star weekend is deteriorating in a way where it's losing a lot of its luster. Like All-Star Saturday sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could we just stop the dunk contest? Like,
well, isn't it crazy that they didn't let McClung compete this year?
Yeah.
No. So apparently, I don't know how true it is, but apparently everyone said they wouldn't compete if he was competing.
Oh,
that is
come on.
That is so loser mentality to me.
Are they
McClung,
bitch made like that, bro? Like,
dude, I'm like, that is the most absurd thing I heard. I'm like, I get McClung is not an NBA level player. I loved him in high school and I loved him in college. I thought he was awesome. Just not big enough to play in the NBA, right? You can't play that small in the NBA nowadays. The kid is electric dunking though. And he was like that in high school, bro. Like all his highlights from high school. I watched him and Tyler Hero and like all of them in their high school film. And man, like his dunks were disgusting. I mean, it was like a baby Zion is what they were calling him in like the comment sections and stuff. Kid's a freak of nature. And you're not competing. You're not letting someone compete because you think he's just going to auto win it because you guys aren't creative enough.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's a lame excuse. And
it's just loser. And now I will say next year, not to cut you off, but next year might be exciting because apparently Curry said he's doing a 3-point contest next year.
Well, that's probably the best event of the whole weekend is the 3-point contest because just the level of shooters that we have in the league right now.
Shout out Conca Nipple, by the way.
Oh yeah, he represented very well.
He only put up 15 in the final round, but shout out him, bro. Like the kids. If Cooper Flagg wasn't in this draft, kid might be rookie of the year. Seriously, he's that good. He's that good. And yeah, Wemby did set the tone for the All-Star game. I mean, I think everybody acknowledged that and loved that,
Yeah.
I just feel like All-Star Weekend to me, is it not getting to like how Pro Bowl is now?
Yes, 100%. And that's where I was going too, where I was like, it's deteriorating almost to Pro Bowl like levels, where like the guys don't really give a shit. That the game is almost like a flag footballish kind of feel, where it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna go play a quarter. You're not even playing a quarter, a full quarter, and it was nice to see like Kawhi take over for the little bit that he did. Like he scored 31 in that one quarter. And we're talking quarters here. We're not talking a game. And the world, their roster wasn't even at full strength.
No,
Like
no Giannis, no Jokic, no Luka,
SGA was hurt.
no SGA, no Giannis. Even Giannis wasn't even there. I mean, and think about that. That's four. We just named 4 top 5 players in the NBA.
Yeah.
That all play for the World's team, by the way.
Yeah, add that with Wemby,
I mean,
they would have dominated.
Yeah.
And
I don't think Wemby's a top 10 player yet. He's too inconsistent. But Wemby's very easily going to be, I think in the next year or two, the top 5 players in the NBA are all going to be World's players. They're all going to be international players.
The only reason why I think Wemby is a top 5, I think he's top 5, is because he's the best defensive player in the NBA.
I can agree he's great on defense, but like he's just super inconsistent.
Yeah,
he's too inconsistent for me to place him in the top 5 right now. I think he's like top 8. It's just really hard for me to like, and maybe I'm just like being super short-sighted, but like I think Cade and I think like why am I brain farting on his name? Edwards, Jesus, Ant-Man. Holy cow. I was sitting here, I'm like, dude, I think those guys are like, again, their defense might not be as good, but they're elite. Like, I just think they're a slight bit ahead of him because they can also stay healthy. Like, if Wemby could stay healthy, I'd agree with it, right? It's the same thing as like Embiid, right? Like, he was arguably top 2 in the NBA for a while, but he just couldn't stay healthy, right? And that's a ding on you, to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I see that for sure. But I think his mentality puts him higher than an Ant-Man, because I've seen immaturity where he could have taken the next step. The Timberwolves had an opportunity a year or two ago to maybe get into the finals, and I think his lack of maturity kind of capped their growth. And I love him as a talent, and Cade Cunningham, but if I'm picking a team, I have to pick Wemby regardless.
If I'm building a team right now, obviously I'm taking Wemby. I think Wemby is the 5th player I'm taking, and he might be even honestly 4 because I'd probably take him over Giannis simply because of age, right?
Age.
But I'm not taking him over. I'm not taking him over Jokic. I'm not taking him over SGA. I'm not taking him over Luka. Certainly, those 3 are obviously top 3. I don't know. I just think, again, I know you're a Spurs fan. I know you, and I love Wemby. It's just, to me, the consistency that I'm getting from like Ant in general is just, at least he's staying healthy, right? I just hate, especially the big guys, right? Like I'm not going to say this is what's going to happen, but how Wemby's health has gone reminds me a lot of Yao Ming.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's going to be a Yao Ming and he's out of the league in like 6 years, right? But he needs to put on a little bit of weight. If he put on like Giannis size weight, which I know is hard for guys that tall, but if he could put on some Giannis size weight, dude, he will go down as the GOAT. He will in the NBA.
And I think what we forget is like he's only like 22, or 21 or 22 years old. Like he's still gonna grow into the man body. Like it took Giannis maybe about a good 4 or 5 years to get that real like weight on.
Well, Jokic too. Jokic wasn't these guys weren't top players the second they entered the league. And I think the thing is like the expectations of Wemby when he got drafted, where he was going to come in and be the number 1 player in the league, and then he had the shit that Dame had, the thrombosis, whatever the hell it was called, with the blood clots. Yeah, and I remember I was so mad because I traded for him in fantasy that year, and I thought I was going to win the league, bro. My team was loaded. And then when we went out and my team, I finished like third. I could have easily won the league. I was so pissed. But yeah, and then he's I just feel like he's out a lot, right? And maybe that's just a byproduct of the Spurs not wanting to compete just yet and still have good picks, right? There's also that, and maybe I'm just off a little bit on what they're doing with him.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to see him go in like that Joel Embiid trajectory, or like that Yao Ming trajectory, where he's like a consensus top 5 player, right? Like, let's just say he's top 5, but he can't stay healthy. So these injuries add up, right? Like, I mean, even now, right? You look at Embiid. Embiid's still, when he's actually playing, he's still an absolute monster. It's just availability is not there at all.
No. And he, I think when he was in Kansas, one of those years he did suffer a bad injury. So I think he came into the league with an injury risk. For all intents and purposes, I don't know if Wemby had that coming in like an Embiid. Like, you already knew, like, Embiid, like, he's going to be great, but he has this.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I say about Wemby that benefits him is that he's not as heavy as the other guys.
That's a big thing, right? Yeah.
His knees get saved a lot in those aspects.
That is a big thing.
Because, like, Embiid is a bigger kind of 7-footer, right? And Yao Ming was a thick kind of.
Did you watch the shot he had over KD? I think that says everything. And KD's the one doing that to people. You know what I mean? That says a lot to me and about his length in general. He is just a monster player. And Shaq says, and we've talked about it before, like, he's surprised at how far ahead the Spurs are. And I think the Spurs also did benefit from the selection of picks that they've had in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Getting Dylan Harper and, Castle and Castle fell in like 15 or something. And that draft was dog. Castle might be the best player out of that draft, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he won the Rookie of the Year, but just his versatility, the versatility that he has, that energy, because it's the others, for me, is what makes the Spurs a really good team and a threat long term. It's the Stephon Castles and the Dylan Harpers, and even the
he went 4. Why did
Carter
I
Bryant?
He went 15. He went 4.
Oh no, he went 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like, even that was the recession. I think AllStar has a very good chance to be very good. And I think we talked about this last week a little bit. I think that the Wizards are possibly going to be good next year. But this draft class just sucks. This might be one of the worst draft classes in recent memory.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what I thought watching that draft. And I was like, when I knew that we got Stephon Castle, because I watched him at UConn, I knew how much of a dog he was. I was like, that's exactly the kind of guy the Spurs need to surround Wemby with. Those dual threat.
Yeah. But I will say the pick at like 2 and 4 the last 2 years.
Oh yeah,
has accelerated a lot because they're not like a badly run. I mean, actually, it was they picked out 1, 4, and 2 the last 3 years, right?
Yeah,
because Wemby came out 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say they're really ahead of schedule. It's just you had 3 top picks and you got a literal generational talent 3 years ago, and then you get Stephon Castle, who's turning out to look like the number 1 pick from that draft. And then obviously I think Dylan Harper's good. He's very clearly not the best, or even maybe not even a top 3 player from this draft, just because like how Conca Nipples looked, Cooper Flagg, but he's still very, very good. And he fits the system of what the Spurs play very well. But that helps a lot when you hit on those picks 3 years in a row. You're hitting on 3 almost, I'm not going to call Stephon Castle generational, but 3 very elite players.
Yeah. And I'll say too about Dylan Harper, he hasn't had the opportunity to shine like the other guys. The other, Dallas and Charlotte, respectfully, are worse situations,
100%.
Like Dylan Harper. I think if he get given the chance to shine, he has enough tools that he could be an all-star, in the near future.
Yeah, because I mean, even like Edgecombe, right? Like the Sixers are poverty, and Edgecombe's looked probably like the second best player or third best player in this draft a lot of the times.
Yeah.
But the thing is like Dylan Harper, to me, as long as you have Wemby and he's never going to need to be your first option or your second option, right? So like, to your point, beautiful. Yeah, like that's very beneficial for the Spurs because you do have a possible number one option that you don't even need to be your number one option.
Yeah, and that's why they've compared him to Manu Ginobili a lot
Yeah,
because
that's a good comparison.
and you know they're both lefties, they're crafty. You know they could shoot the ball and drive to the basket. And the thing I love about the Spurs is the family oriented kind of feel. The the legends still work with the players. Duncan works with Wemby. You know, Ginobili is working with Dylan Harper to embrace that like coming off the bench role. Like when you have people buying in at all levels and you have credible guys walking in the door, like mentoring these guys, that's another reason why they've accelerated, you know, in the development too.
No, yeah, that's a very fair and valid point, quite frankly. I'm just honestly.
Yeah, because like let's
Yeah.
say we had the situation at like the Brooklyn Nets, right? Like you could have gotten Dylan Harper, let's say, right? But he might have not developed in the same way because there's no structure there. There's not that same, you know, credible guy walking in the door, commanding respect immediately, right? It's
Yeah.
like,
Which is funny too, because like it's like the three best teams in the NBA right now are like Detroit, OKC, and San Antonio.
yeah,
It's like what a world we live in, you know. And OKC, you know, we've been plagued with injuries. I mean, J Dub hurt, came back, got hurt again. Shay's out. You know, I think this is more of like a tactical rest kind of thing for us though.
yeah,
iHeart hasn't been healthy all year. Chat's been in and out, and I'm like, dude, we're still 42-14. We're five. I think like 5-5 in our last 10 or 6-4 or something. I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm fine with it. You know, if that's because a lot of these teams come in the playoff times, like the Denvers and the Houstons and the San Antonios. You need to those series are going to come down to who has one less injury.
yeah. Not much separates them, right? It's like, and it comes down to health, like you said. And
Yeah,
the strategic element of it too is you don't want to burn these guys here. You like the Thunder are already a proven champion.
yeah,
You could be second, third, fourth seed and still win, right? Like
easily.
so rest the playoffs are another what 2 months.
Yeah.
It's a grind. So yeah, you know, this is what a veteran championship team would do. This is what Pop has done in the past, resting his guys,
Mm-hmm.
you know, managing minutes. It's all part of how when you win, you start moving on the chessboard a little differently.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of strategic moves, how are we feeling about the tanking? How are we feeling about all this crazy shit going on?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at like Sacramento or like you know, like what are they
I'm talking
even doing?
specifically about what Sacramento did today. Did you see all of the
Yeah,
surgeries that they had? I'm like, holy smokes, bro.
so it's like Sabonis out,
Levine,
Levine out, like
Jaren
DeRozan.
Jackson went to. I don't think DeRozan's
But
out. I think
I mean,
DeRozan is
I'm
still.
waiting for his.
He'll get surgery on something. His
Yeah,
pinky toe out for the year. I mean, it's shameless. And have you seen like what Adam Silver said? Is he'd be okay with making the draft class free agents. And obviously that wouldn't start for like 5 years, right? Because you have like the picks that are already traded and stuff. But how would you feel about that to combat the tanking? Or what's your thoughts on it? Or what would you do about it?
yeah, and that's a great question because you know before the draft, the concept of the draft, they did do free agents. That's how like the Boston Celtics had their dynasty in the '60s. Is you know the big brands are gonna have the leg up on the other teams, so that's why I wouldn't do the free agent one. But if you're gonna do like a soccer model, you could have your G League affiliates try to sign these guys and you know try to get them like that because uh, free agent rookies you're gonna now have another can of worms of like collusion, Like now I might make a secret alliance with you and we're both going
Yeah.
to this team.
It would get very sketchy. I do agree. And to Shaq's point too, like this 2026 class is a fucking monster class. This might be, and this might go down as one of the best, if not the best draft classes ever, if it works out the way that it very well could, because I think there is 10 franchise altering players in this draft alone. I mean, I am expecting, the top 4 players or so, or top 3 at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like Peterson is like the number 1 guy right now, but dude, what AJ has done over the last like month, I mean, dude has been dropping nukes in these games. It's just this whole class. And then Boozer to me is the most NBA ready of the 3.
Yeah.
And he gets the least, and obviously he's not having to score a ton of points, but it is crazy to me, this draft class. I mean, top to bottom. I mean, you got, Kingston Fleming came out of nowhere. Now he's like a top 5 pick all of a sudden. I don't know, dude. I'm super excited to watch this draft class. And there's kids from like, you got kids from Arkansas projected top 10, like all different teams. It's not like one team has all these players anymore.
Yeah. And don't forget, there's always international guys too that could join the fray. So it's like,
not to cut you off, I just want to. Arizona's winning by 13 right now, but AJ has 27 points with 8 minutes left in this game.
Yeah,
like it's 63-50 now, but yeah, regardless, like these guys are just electric, bro. Like this whole class is electric. I understand why people are tanking this year because I get the draft class. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's the integrity of what it does is kind of just pathetic almost, because it's not like teams are like tanking like strategically, or teams are kind of just bad and they don't have like core pieces around them. Like the teams are literally fucking sitting there. Like what the Jazz are doing is despicable.
Yeah.
They're
doing it too. Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like if you're a fan of these teams, like if you're a Sacramento King fan, like what do you do at that point, right? Like you're not watching basketball. You're probably looking for when do the A's start playing baseball, right?
It's and if you're a Sacramento fan, you thought you were a playoff team this year, like we all did. I thought Sacramento was a playoff team this year.
At least a play-in, right?
At least a play-in team. I mean, I wasn't. Are they actually the worst? Let me see. Are they the worst team in the NBA now?
I think they are.
Yeah, they're the worst. 12-44. Washington's 14-39, but Washington to me. Washington and now I'm telling you what, if Washington sneaks a top 3 pick in this draft and you get Trae Young, you get AD, and then you have Sar, I mean, dude, if they somehow got the number, I think if they got like the number 3 pick and they got Cameron Boozer, and then you play Sar, Boozer, AD, Trae Young, and I don't know who their 3 is, Champagny or Bub Carrington, whoever it is. They're competing next year, but see, like they have a plan. They made trades for players.
And the Pacers too. Like
I don't think the Pacers are tanking necessarily, though. You lost Miles Turner, you lost your superstar in Halliburton for the whole year. Like they're just naturally, their team isn't built to like be good, and they lost a lot of players. And like Siakam's been horrible. And then you have that Johnny Furpy guy or whatever. He tore his ACL or whatever. He looked great. You're not telling me you're rolling out like a starting 5 of Siakam, TJ McConnell, Nembhard, Naismith, and you being competitive. What the Pacers are doing is kind of what the Wizards are doing. You got Zubac, you got Siakam. Hallie will be back next year. You get a good pick this year with how loaded this draft is, and you're going to compete next year. So these teams aren't like tanking to me. They're just hurt. Like, you lost your superstar player. And that's why I will say And again, the Celtics are built a little different, but it's very impressive with how good the Celtics are without Jason Tatum. But you still I think people forget how good Jaylen Brown is. Like
Yeah.
he's he's 1B on that team. Like he's still an elite talent, you know. And Derek White, an elite talent. They're just not a bad team in general. And I don't know, people played it off like the Celtics were going to be horrible this year. I'm like, they're going to be a play-in team. And I said, if they're going to be a playoff team, like a contender, that's when I said, oh, Tatum could probably come back. But I mean, they're not. And Peyton Pritchard, we've seen what Peyton Pritchard can do in his limited minutes. Like they have players that can play basketball, you know?
Yeah. 100%. And, you know, to your point, there's teams that have been bad for a while, like Brooklyn, right? Like, are they tanking or are they just not there yet, right?
I
And
think Brooklyn's just one of the most poorly run. Brooklyn to me is like the Las Vegas Raiders of the NBA. They're just so
100%.
poorly run. I mean, they fucking released Cam Thomas for free. They couldn't even get I get the high scoring non defensive guards. They don't really have a lot of value. That's just how it is. But I mean, his first game he dropped like what 35 of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
I like a lot of like the Brooklyn roster. Like I like Porter. I like Demon. Like guys get flamethrower for a three. I like Nolan Traore. Like they have a lot of players when I'm looking at their roster, and I'm like, they got good young talent. But I just feel like they don't try to bring in any veteran. Like obviously they had the KD, Kyrie, Harden fiasco, and that didn't work out, right? But those guys played like one game together. And I think they gave up on that way too quick. I think they could have easily. They were a half a foot away from being, you know, who we could have been talking about them winning the finals, right?
Yep.
But yeah, the Nets. I just think the Nets are just poorly run, and I just think they don't have any veterans on the team to be anybody. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, to your point too, there's still what, like a month or two left of the season.
Yeah.
We don't know where the ping pong balls will, you know, go. But
now, I'll tell you what, I do love that.
Yeah,
I love that the odds. I love that like teams can get absolutely fisted by like
tank
to me. I hope the Kings fall to like 5. I really do. Like I don't know how far teams can fall. I'm not really sure. I'm not in tune with how the draft odds work. But like if the Kings could fall to 10, I would love if they fell to 10. Like
it depends on if that slot, like that team in that slot has a top, what is it, 4 or top 3 where they kind of like pick, you know, who's top 3. So if you're out of the top 3, then I think you go to where that team is. So like if they got picked 10, whoever's 10th automatically moves up to the top 3.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's how the Spurs got there with Dylan Harper. I think they had the 8th best odds, if I'm not mistaken. And they swapped with like I don't know if it was the Wizards or somebody fell out of the top 3.
I remember that. Apparently, the team with the worst record cannot pick lower than 5th. I hope the Kings finish the worst record and get picked 5th. That's all I hope.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that for sure. I didn't know that that's how that all worked. Again, I'm not like super in tune with how like the draft odds and everything work. That's crazy though. So like if let's just say I'm Utah Jazz and I'm projected to pick at 4. If I get picked to pick at 10, and let's just say San Antonio is projected to pick at 10, I automatically go pick at 4 now.
You're guaranteed at least the 4th.
At least 4th.
Yeah.
Now you're in that pool of those whoever's in.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's how we lucked into, you know, Dylan Harper this year or this past draft was we got a swap with, not really a swap, but you know, we got in, the other team, you know, moved out of the top 4, and it was just, man, and that's why, like, at least the draft lottery, it kind of, it's not the best method to thwart tanking, but it's better than just letting free agent rookie sign, or I've heard like, oh, why don't they do a tournament, and whoever wins the tournament, gets the first pick.
So apparently, you can't fall more than 5 picks lower. So if you're the first pick, you can't fall lower than 5th. The second pick can't fall lower than 6th. But you can trade with those teams that are there.
Okay.
I was just reading it, so I understood a little bit more. It's like, yeah.
So last year, I'm not sure whose pick we swapped with, but
Wow. The 14th worst team still has a 0.5% chance at number 1. Could you imagine? You're like a borderline play-in team in like a draft like this, and you just get the number 1 pick by God's will.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, how big would that be for a team like Charlotte, right? Like,
Charlotte, to me, I'm not even bullshitting you, bro. I think Charlotte might be one of the best teams in the NBA currently.
Yeah, they got something cooking, man.
Their roster is constructed really well too, really well, and I love people can hate on LaMelo. I love LaMelo on that team. I love Khan. I love Brandon Miller. Bridges is a piece of shit. We won't get into that. Diopti or whatever, Diopti or whatever his name is, that guy's been decent. I mean, and they play with heart, bro. And that's a young team.
That's all you could ask from a young team, right?
They're like the 9th. They're like 9 in the standings in the East. Like they're 9-1 in the last 10 games.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people had them at least in the plan, right?
No, and they're only 4 games back from the 6th seed right now.
And that's doable because I don't trust Philly.
No. And Toronto, I mean, is the 5 seed, and they're only 8 games back from there. I don't know. I could easily see them possibly playing into like a 6 or 5 seed with the way they look right now. I mean, injuries happen, right? We don't know, but they look really, really good.
Yeah, and crazier things have happened in the league, right? So it is possible.
Absolutely. You want to hop over to some baseball?
Yeah.
Baseball stuff's happening.
As you know, or maybe some people don't know, this past week, pitchers and catchers started reporting. Spring training is winding up, and I think this weekend the first games actually happen. I think
Friday.
Yes.
1:00. Yes, sir.
So
it's New York and Baltimore.
Nice. New York, Baltimore, new look. Orioles getting out there, and
the Orioles will be good next year.
That's the beauty of spring training, right? Is that there's so much optimism with all the teams because you never know. I mean,
unless you're like the Pittsburgh Pirates, you're just gonna suck.
Yeah, and that's a shame. But
with the way that the draft picks have fell for them too, and like the talent that they have, and I'm not even exaggerating, they might have like a top 3 pitching rotation in the MLB.
Yeah,
with Skeens, Bubba Chandler, Henry Barco, like they have some freaking studs, and they just refuse to spend money. It is incredible.
I can't wait to see how Connor Griffin does too.
Yeah,
I know he's highly touted, and from what I've seen so far in spring training, he has been impressing with the bat. So let's see what happens. And they signed Marcell Ozuna the other day. I guess that's a big deal for the Pirates.
I did see that, and it was for a cheap deal too. I couldn't believe it. It was like $8 million a year. I don't know why that really threw me off because I remember 2 years ago he hit almost like 50 home runs.
Yeah, he was almost the MVP.
Yeah.
I think he led the National League.
The Pirates could really be, if they try it, because Connor Griffin, I think, is the number 1 prospect in MLB, like is in the pipeline. And the kid is a menace. Like he's going to be really, really good.
And you think about that, right? If they do get off to a good start, they would have to be a buyer, right?
They're not, though, is the thing. Did you not hear like the thing that the president said a couple years back
Yeah.
about like until like they start filling out the stadiums, they're not going to spend money
Yeah, and
or
that's
some shit like that?
egregious.
That's insane. The fact that he's allowed to say that, I think, is crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you enforce anything on that, but like to say like, hey, we're not going to actually spend money on this team until you actually start showing up to games. And I understand the sentiment, right? Like I get what he's saying in a sense, but it's like, bro, that doesn't make people want to show up to the games any more than they already have been. I'll tell you
Yeah,
that right now.
yeah, and it works the other way around. You put a product out there, and the people will come. And you have his Paul Skeens where people do want to watch him live. You have one of the best ballparks in the nation. You
Yeah.
know, like it's such a beautiful park. That team and that fan base deserves so much better.
Well,
You know,
Skeens will be a Dodger in like 2 years. They'll end up.
yeah,
I'm sure he'll end
yeah.
up over there somehow with Skubal too. Him and Skubal, and they'll have Otani, Skubal, Yamamoto, and Skeens as their starting four. The
You
fucking
know, with Edwin Diaz
MLB,
closing.
yeah, MLB Worlds team over there, mega superstars, and they're all going to sign for like $4 a year or something.
Yeah,
I
getting paid
mean,
until 2080.
dude, it is crazy.
Well, what do you what's something that you're looking not just forward to, but what's piquing your interest going into spring training? Maybe a position battle, maybe a rookie to look out for, maybe somebody to bounce back, or a new face in a new place.
If you want me to be honest, I just want to see baseball again. Like I'm not really excited for anyone in particular. Um, I think the Mariners will be good again this year, which would be great. There's a lot of young I will say, like, okay, so for me, like, I'm excited. I'm a huge Bubba Chandler fan. Um, I did I was really big into like the prospects last year, and Chase Burns as well. I'm really big into those two kids. I really want to see him do well. So I guess Bubba Chandler is someone like I'm excited to see in the preseason and see how he does because he had really good games last year. He had a couple games where he got absolutely rocked, right? And then I'm also, and this is going to be crazy to say, I'm excited to see the Marlins pitching prospects come up and see how they look because because I always forget the one that I really like, which is ironic enough. But I think Robbie White is their like number one guy. I think his name is Robbie White. But then they have no. Where is he at? He was from the Padres, and I don't know. I don't remember his name. This is really gonna piss me off. I'm not gonna lie to you. But they have their whole regardless, their whole pitching rotation. It's like them and the Pirates are both like poverty organizations, but like they have great pitchers, and I kind of want to see if they start pushing these players up and letting them play and seeing what they can actually do, even in franchises like this. Robbie Snelling is his name. I'm sorry. Robbie Snelling and Thomas White. But I'm just really excited to see like these players, these young kids that I've been watching and following through the pipeline over the last couple of years, get into the MLB and see how they perform. I'm not excited for like any big name players or any big players or anything like that. Really, I'm excited to watch a lot of the young kids come up, like Chase Burns and Bubba Chandler and Snelling, and I like watching Skeens pitch. I like watching Skubal pitch, like players like that. But yeah, that's really what's going to intrigue me this year is all these young prospects. Connor Griffin, like you said too, I've watched him all year. There's the kid from the Cardinals. I can't remember his name. There's just a lot of young kids, man. I don't know. I'm just I like watching that kind of stuff.
You know, the game's in a good place where with the plethora of young talent that we have. One team that I need to tip my hat to is the Athletics for signing their guys.
Yeah, and I think Kurtz is going to regress this year. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to average out to the means. But they have that shortstop, DeVries.
Oh yes,
And hopefully he comes up this year. I'd love to see him. He's one of
yes,
the guys I followed a lot last year. And then I didn't even shout the kid from Detroit, McGonkey or whatever.
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of these young kids, man, and the A's, like to your point, they have called up and developed a lot of these young players. I mean, it's cool to see stuff like that. Like
It
Kurt's
is.
coming onto the scene and absolutely lighting it up. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like last year we had like Roman Anthony
yeah.
coming to the scene.
And he was highly. And then who's the other kid from Boston too? It was Roman Anthony and
Was it Sedan? What you talking about?
no.
Uh,
Hold on, I gotta look now. It was this is really just gonna tick me off, man. I'm having trouble without all these sheets in front of me. Well, he's not even on here. Is it 2024? Are we serious right now? Marcelo Mayer.
oh yes,
Yeah, and he got called up too. Sorry, I could not remember his name, bro.
yeah. It's it's just a lot of young guys, and I'll even say like this year, I'm curious to see how Carson Bench, once he gets his opportunity in New York, they're projecting him to play right field. So if he has a good spring, he's winning the starting job in right field. And this is a two-way player that he also did pitch in college, and McLean. So
That's
like
like McLean. Yeah, I was just about to say McLean. I would love to see McLean get up to the plate because he's a great. And I actually think they have between Tongs, McLean, and the other Sproat got traded. Who's the other one?
Christian Scott.
Yeah, I'm like they have a really good young pitching core too. I mean, Tongs and McLean are going to be lights out for years.
Yeah. And like just looking at McLean like close up, that dude has the tools, man. You know how some guys they just look like an ace. He
Yeah,
has that. He carries himself like it, and his demeanor is like that. And Jonah Tong is another. He's a good kid.
yeah, he got lit up at the end of the year, which I kind of felt bad about because I really like watching him pitch. But McLean just, so like my whole strategy, I punted pitcher last year in fantasy baseball, and I just loaded like Burns, Bubba Chandler, McLean. I picked up, like I just loaded up on these guys. Misoroki, I held on to him for. He's another one I'm excited to see this year with the Brewers.
Yeah.
But McLean, he just looks like a bona fide ace. He looked like an ace when he came into the league. He was just that good because his first game was against the Yankees too, right? And he just shut him out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to watch these young cats, man. I can't emphasize it enough. I love the game so much, and I love seeing the young prospects come up. And I would say the team I'm most excited for this year is probably Baltimore.
Yeah.
I want to see Gunnar be healthy. They got Pete Alonso. I love their pitching staff as it is. Like they have a good amount of, like they have Shane Baz, they have Bradish who finally was getting healthy. I think they got rid of the other guy.
Who Rodriguez?
No, Trevor Rogers. Sorry, Trevor Rogers. Yeah, they just have a lot of young like.
And what do we make of Holiday? Right?
Yeah.
Does he finally develop?
This is the year we're gonna see. I think this is gonna be his third year. He showed flashes last year. I just don't know why. Every time I watch him, I just don't feel like he has an MLB bat. Like he has an MLB bat when he's in the minor. I mean, he's a firecracker. And you know what? On the sense of young players, they have a big choice to make between Adley and Basello.
Yeah.
because they called Adley couldn't stay healthy last year. I mean, I had Adley 2 years ago, and I didn't touch him last year because I was scared of him, and he couldn't stay. He got hurt last year, and Basello looked the part.
He was
He's
hitting
7
too.
years younger, 7 years younger, 6 years, whatever it is. What do they do? You know,
It's tough because they spent that number 1 pick on Adley instead of getting Witt, right?
yeah.
And, oh, man. And, back then you couldn't go wrong, right? Adley was really, really good.
Adley was good for a couple. Like Adley, we can't really shit on Adley. I mean, Bobby Witt's the top 4 player in the MLB, top 5 player in the MLB.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, yeah, it's just I don't know. When I look at catcher, it's like Adley to me, like Cal Riley had, and he's not going to do what he did next year this year, right? He plays every single day. He hit 60 bombs. Adley's never going to hit 60, but Adley was hitting for power, which is like the Salvador Perez, like what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
You were getting that from a catcher position, which wasn't common. Like you're not really seeing catchers play every day, catch every day for every pitcher, like that's what he did for a couple years. And now what do? You have a really, really tough choice if you're Baltimore.
Yeah. I mean, you might, depending, you might sell high on him, man. I think you see what prospects you can get. Not saying that you make the trade, but you field calls and see what's his
Dodgers
value.
could offer them a bag of popcorn, bro, and they might take it.
Yeah. They have Will Smith and Adley Rutschman as like the DH, and
dude,
they'll convert him to first base.
I don't even want to talk about it. The fact that we said that it's going to happen, right? But
I forgot that they got Tucker this year too,
yeah,
right?
they got Tucker. Yep, they got Tucker. Dude, and their whole you got to think too. The fucked up part is their whole pitching staff was hurt last year. Yeah. They still won the World Series. Like Ohtani didn't even start pitching until like the end of the year, pretty much. Like it's disgusting, bro. And they get everybody back healthy this year because they lost. I gotta go look at the names. They lost like everybody because if you owned a player by them that pitched last year, you're basically counting on them getting hurt because they had Let me go see. Yeah, Kasparis got hurt. They got Edwin Diaz. Glasnow was hurt half the year. Landon Knack got hurt. Bobby Miller was hurt. Rory looked like he forgot how to pitch when he came to America. Emmett Sheehan was like on and off. Like he had his spurts. Snell was hurt. Snell's hurt now. He's not even going to be ready for the start of the season. Vesio was hurt. Trinan was hurt. You had Rablowski, or however you say his name. Guy throws like 150 miles an hour, but he just can't. He gets lit up. It's actually disgusting.
Yeah, that the wealth of talent that they have and the depth.
Dude, I just looked at their start, and I think Mookie Betts had. I don't think people really understand how bad Mookie Betts' year was. Like him getting sick caused him to play that bad. I'm convinced he lost. I heard he lost like 30 pounds or 20 pounds and just couldn't put it because you can't just put 30 pounds back on when the season started, bro.
No,
this doesn't happen.
No.
Mookie Betts, by his standards, had a horrible, horrible year. That's not going to happen again this year.
No. They still won with him.
Yeah, and then you sign Tucker. I mean, and now again, you have a Ohtani that's going to be healthy and going both ways now. It is a very scary time. And then you have the kid Dalton Rushing come up, and he's good as fuck all of a sudden, the catcher. Yeah. And they're another one where it's like, do you play Rushing or do you play Will Smith? Because your DH is Ohtani, right? So like you can't really. I guess now they say that they couldn't trade for Adley and DH Adley because Ohtani's the DH.
Yeah.
So you'd have to make a choice on if you wanted Adley to be your catcher or not. That never happened, by the way. But still.
Or you could just have him try to learn first base. Once Freddie Freeman's
probably actually
walking out the door. He's got a couple, maybe a year or two left in him.
Freeman?
I mean, like I think he wants to ride out.
He's 30, what, 34, 35, maybe 36 now? No, 36 now, probably, right? I I feel like, I mean, the way he looked last year, it looks like he's got at least a good 3-4 more years in him.
Oh, I agree. But
But
his
he's so
injury
like,
history,
yeah, I was gonna say he's so like injury prone, and he's got a laundry list of achievements at this point, right? Like,
yeah, this first
you don't want
ballot
him to
Hall of
see
Famer.
like take a Chris Paul effect where like, he had his career and now he's just flaming out, and it's disappointing when he's leaving instead of being exciting.
Yeah, you get sent off instead of
Yeah.
no, but I think the Dodgers are ran a little bit differently than the Clippers. Like they wouldn't do that to Freddie
No,
Freeman.
absolutely not. He's too loved. Like I said, the annoying part, I think I said this like a couple months ago. The annoying part about the Dodgers is they're an LA team, so I automatically don't like them. But they have probably the most likable team in all of the MLB between Ohtani,
Yeah,
Freeman. I like Kyle Tucker. It sucks he signed there, but I'm a big Kyle Tucker guy. I like him. I don't know. It just sucks.
yeah, and to your point, like I'm even a Kike Hernandez fan.
I
That
love Kike. Everybody loves Kike. If you don't like Kike, you just are a sour person, bro.
and they see that clubhouse guy for that team, like he puts the clubhouse loose enough that they're not like pressing, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes up big in the playoffs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the in Rojas, what he did in the World Series, like
Even
they're
Teoscar Hernandez is likable, bro. Like their whole
yeah,
it's so.
and they're gonna love Edwin Diaz with the trumpets, and like
yeah. Yeah. Sky says, "Watch out for the Mets." I think the Mets are going to be good next year. The Lindor injury is going to hurt them to start the season, I think. But I like Bichette, a little Orlando guy. Bichette came from Orlando, by the way. So,
oh yeah,
I've known him for a long time. He's a couple years younger than me, so I've kept up with him for a while. I like your guys' roster. You got 14 catchers, I think, on your team, but Alvarez, when healthy, is your catcher.
yeah,
Brett Batty, Bichette, Lindor. I like Polanco. Simeon was an interesting. You traded for him this offseason, right?
for Nimmo.
Simeon. And then Vientos, same kind of thing. Like he goes on. He is the literal definition of heat check.
Yeah,
He's on a burner and then he's cold.
feast or famine.
Then you got Luis Roberts, right? That was a big trade. And you got Juan Soto out there. So it'll be interesting. I think that your offense is good. Your pitching staff is also very, very good. I just hate your closers. I hate that you went and got Weaver, and I hate that you went and got Williams. I think both of them are horrible. And I think both of them are reasons why the Yankees were bad the Yankees weren't World Series contenders last year, is because I think the Yankees had horrible bullpen pitching.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I tried so hard last year to get on the Manea train. Just couldn't get behind him. But I think your guys' young guys are really good. Like, I think you're like, if you're on out Tongs, McLean, Peralta, I think you're already like happy with that. And then you have Holmes, right? Is Holmes going to be one of your starting pitchers as well?
Yep.
And then Senga, right? Is that the other guy?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like what you could do. It's just you have a lot of question marks on what's really going to happen. So I think you have 2 aces. I think you have McLean and you have Peralta, bona fide. But it's after that, it's like in a 5-game or 7-game series, how do you match up?
Yeah, and you also monitor the development of Christian Scott. I know he's probably another year away anyway. They want to bring him along slowly, but you're building for next year where you can make a run at Skubal and try to throw the bank at him, right? To compete with the Dodgers, you have to do that. I don't like them letting Edwin Diaz go because I thought that was an advantage that they had.
I still don't understand why they did that. I don't understand it. I don't.
Yeah, and the way that they went about it, like you got Williams before you even did the whole negotiations with Diaz. So it's like, yeah, Diaz felt some type of way. It's like, why are you getting this guy, Devin Williams? Like, are you using him for as the closer or the setup guy? And that changes our negotiations now. Like now I might want more money. So
Yeah,
it's I could see how that soured, but Stearns knows these guys from Milwaukee. Like Williams and
I hate
Peralta.
it.
So
I like the Peralta signing. I will say that.
yes,
I don't like the Devin Williams signing and the Weaver signing at all. I am not on board with it one bit.
and that's why when we signed Williams, I said that's great if he's the setup man,
Yeah.
and Diaz is still coming out to the time, to
Now
the
you got
trumpets.
you got Weaver setting up fucking Williams for no reason.
It is going to be just like before the days of Diaz, where it's like you got DeGrom pitching a masterpiece,
Yeah.
and then who's coming in to give the game away?
10 runs. That's what's coming in. It's one way or another. DeGrom was so fun to watch, but dude, I swear to God, he would lose games or get no decisions for games that weren't like it made no sense to me. No sense.
That's the frustrating, and then the offense didn't hit for him either. So you have that.
Yep.
But I will say, like them addressing the runners in scoring position, uh, hitting with runners in scoring position is one of the underrated things that they did. Like I think their floor is a lot better than it was last year.
Certainly agree with that. And you have the talent as well. It's going to be, to me, what for the Mets specifically this year is going to be the development of all of your pitchers, even your older pitchers like Manea and Singa, right? Like, what can you actually get from them? Because we know what you can get from your bats, right? Like, those are commodities that we know what we're going to get.
Yep.
Outside of rolling out Peralta and frankly McLean, you don't know what you're getting on a day-to-day basis, and that's the issue. Is even if you win every game, which you're not, with Peralta and McLean pitching, that's only going to be 40 games, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're not going to win 40 games. We all know that, but it's just like, what consistency can you get?
100%. And that division too, Philly's still pretty good. Atlanta should be better.
I think Washington's even going to be better this year.
Yeah, they have some young guys, man.
Washington, James Wood, I mean, he's a monster. And I own James Wood cost me in fantasy last year. I was a big James Wood guy. He just went cold. But like Washington was good. And they finished like with 60 wins or something. But like they're a younger team. And then even Miami, right? Like didn't Miami only finish behind you guys like 5 games last year?
Yeah, like
Miami's gonna get
surged.
better.
Like man, I forgot who it was. The Nationals have this prospect, man, who was another like James Wood kind of a player with power. I saw him in winter ball this year. He was playing the Puerto Rican league.
Let me see.
I thought it started with an M. It could be Morales. That's a guy to watch out for in the minors, man. That guy could hit.
They have let me see. They don't really have the prospect. They're hard to like find. Willidis is their shortstop. What position does he play?
I believe it's first base.
They don't even have anybody listed here as like a top prospect by them. That's first base. Their shortstop is a single A player. Wow, that's weird. I don't even see him. For Washington Nationals?
Yeah. Let me see what his... Dude,
these lists are so hard to find. Yeah, Willis is their top. He's actually 15th in the pipeline. He's like their top prospect.
Yoandy
Jarns.
Morales. That's the guy. He's in AAA. I
Where is
expect
that?
him to get called up this year. He
Really?
he has his bat is ready.
That's
That's
crazy. He's not even in like the top 100 either. That's kind of crazy.
yeah. Like he's very under the radar, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
I'll get tuned into all these prospects as the season goes on, bro. I love talking baseball because I start getting in tune with all the prospects and stuff, watching them.
and it's something
But
about baseball,
yeah,
right, man?
it's just the thing is like I get like people think it's boring, but like there's so many players and positions and like
Yeah.
there's so many storylines and people you can watch grow up, and it's almost like you can grow up with them, right? Like you can start watching them in single A, double A, triple A, and then watch them grow into the MLB and be successful. And that's so cool to me. Like Chase Burns last year, right? Started in single A, finished in the MLB, like in like 4 months, he made it up to the MLB, right?
Yeah.
Bubba Chandler, we're hoping he gets called up. Andrew Painter, we were hoping for him to get called up all year and he didn't get called up. There's just a lot of these guys that are monsters that, you watch them grow and watch them.
Spencer Jones.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that one. I think, I don't know. I think he's going to be like a 200 strikeout kind of guy. But, man, he's going to be fun as shit to watch. Like, imagine him and Aaron Judge in your lineup.
They got nothing to lose.
You got 100 plus home runs guaranteed right there between the two. They just have their outfield is so clogged is the issue. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I just think the Yankees are so good, but not good at the same time. I just wish they didn't bring back Bellinger. I really wish they didn't bring back Bellinger. And, I feel like you could have just let Dominguez play left field, right? And then you move. I don't know. Like Stanton's, I guess Aaron Judge is like 33, right? Stanton's like 36. If he retires, just move Judge to DH, and then like Grisham, Spencer Jones, and Dominguez is a fine outfield.
Yeah.
But they just refuse to like develop Dominguez. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, they've had the training wheels on him long enough. Like, just let him develop or just trade him.
Yeah.
Like his value was high. I don't know if it's as high as it was.
He was like the top prospect like 2 years ago. Like he was on everybody's number one on everybody's board.
They call him the alien, I think, too. Like the Martian.
I think it is.
Martian, and like he did have the physical tools.
It's funny too. He's like 5'9" or like 5. He's super small. Like he's not like a giant guy.
Yeah,
but he's just like super technical. I don't know. I just hate. That's one of those things. Like I just hate watching players like that waste away. It's like they're good enough to play, but they're not good enough to play on your team. So, but you want to have them just in case. But it's like, dude, it's been 5 years. Let the fucking guy go somewhere else.
And that's organizational too. So like when we talked about the Pirates, how they can't keep these guys, the Yankees hold on to their prospects as long as they can for whatever reason, to their own detriment.
It's like a game for them. They're like, yeah, how fuck can we make all of our prospects be?
Yeah.
And not develop them. It's like you wonder why you're always good, but like never good enough recently. Because you have the talent to be good enough. You just refuse to like play the talent. I don't know. Guys aren't going to be good in the MLB. Like Aaron Judge, right? Aaron Judge was a late bloomer. Guys aren't going to be good in the MLB in like their first year or two unless they're mega studs, right?
Yeah.
But if you let them develop for or let them bring them in the early in the season or late in the season and get some experience, geez, it does wonders for development.
100%. And I think that they're wasting Aaron Judge's years here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Aaron Judge has maybe, especially with the injuries creeping up now, maybe 3 years left.
Yeah.
They have to win in the next 3 years. Otherwise, that is gone. in my opinion. I mean, he could play for 7, 8 more years for all I know, but I don't see it.
No, not. But he would have to be a full-time DH just to save his legs.
I think he'd have. To me, ideally, Stanton retires next year, and you move Judge to DH next year at worst.
Yes.
But I don't know. We'll see what actually happens there. I don't know. Yankees are the Yankees. Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it for us, huh?
Really I mean,
sports.
Another great show. In the next couple weeks, we're gonna keep at this spring training theme.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I can't wait for it to start up.
Yeah, and in a couple weeks, also, March Madness is coming. It's
NBA starts back up this week.
Yeah, Thursday, right?
Yeah, I think. Is it? Oh, there's a lot of games Thursday. I thought there was only one. There's like fucking.
I think like everybody's playing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 games.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. So at least, they get back on track. I think a big matchup is like Detroit, New York. Something to look
Celtics
forward
play
to.
the Warriors.
Yeah.
I guess Porzingis is playing in that game.
Wow.
The Rockets and Hornets play too. I mean, that's a good game as well.
That is.
The game of the night, though, here is Pacers Wizards.
So
Pistons Knicks play. Suns Spurs play.
Yeah.
Nuggets Clippers.
Good game.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a lot to look forward to. Another great show. Everybody, thank you for joining us today. Absolutely. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Abby,
prayers out to you. Hope to have you back next week.
That's right. And a pleasure again, Sean. Another great show.
Always.
And we will see you guys next Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern. Peace out.